There's always going to be things, negative things going on. There's always going to be miserable people who need to move through that misery. There's so much to look forward to. There is so much to look forward to. And if you feel like there's not much to look forward to, that should worry you. But I mean, that does worry people and they get stuck. So I guess it shouldn't worry you, but you should focus on that. Like, wait, why can't I go towards what makes me feel good? What's wrong with me figuring out what makes me feel good? What's wrong with figuring out my definition of happiness? What's over there? What happens when I go towards that? I'm kind of bored right now. I don't know what to do with myself, and it's really early. Most things aren't open right now. So I'm gonna yap. And I haven't been feeling like yapping lately. I mean, I feel like yapping, but I haven't known what to yap about. Because I could sit here and tell you how good I feel. And I guess I kind of am going to in the rest of my videos from now on. But I have been noticing the patterns of this channel in my life and focusing on the past, focusing on what's going wrong, what's missing, trying to convey a message to you guys to build a community of people who we all know what's going wrong in the world. So now how are we going to correct it? But within that, I see now how it was just recreating what's wrong over and over again. Because for me, like, I'm thinking about it to then come to YouTube to talk about it. So even though I'm living and thinking of ways to overcome the limitations in my own life and life in general and what's going on in the world, I'm still, even though I want to contribute something and help in some way, it was still causing me to have problems in my life. It was causing me to focus on the problems in my life. And maybe not even so much in my own life, but still in the world. And I have such a big open heart and mind that I can't just shut that off. I can't think of the world and not include myself in it. I can't include other people and not, like, I actually feel things. I actually feel things, and I actually practice what I preach. I practice what I preach, but I'm noticing all of that energy, focusing on it and putting my energy there was creating it more. And now I'm in this I'm always in a void state, but now I'm in this beautiful void of what's next, without being that person anymore, without focusing on that. And it feels really good. It feels really good. And sometimes boring, to be honest, because I'm literally twiddling my Timbs right now. Like, I just feel like, oh God, like I called it the ickiness in my last video, but it's like, yeah, that ickiness, that black goop, just that gray smoke, that gray fog that most people are just polluted with without even realizing. And just like, I had to be in the scene of the crime, I guess, to really report what's going on, to really get a sense of what's going on here and how are we going to fix this? Like, I was just like a little private investigator or something. But I also lived that life for a long time too. So I don't know, just focusing on what's going wrong in the world. And I feel like the pollution is going away. And I'm remembering from the beginning of this, back in like 2018, 2019. Oh my, and life was just so magical. It was so insanely magical. I was overwhelmed all the time. 2018 and 2019. And then just the world's problems, of course, the following year, right? And my own personal problems mixed with that. It got very confusing and smoky and polluted. My thought process is so different. Like and being homeless, I don't have time. I don't have time or the energy to be focusing on the world's problems. Like, being homeless is saving me. And I know most people are worried about me. Most people who are homeless they're hopeless. They're hopeless, and you can't lose hope when you're in this situation. You have to have a goal or something to look forward to, or else that smoke, it's going to pollute you. But even if you're homeless, even if you have a house, like, we're all, this smoke, this pollution, this virus is in our minds. It doesn't matter our physical circumstances. It's in our minds, and we have to get through it. And I know, and I knew that giving examples helps people. Like, I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like. And I felt like I had to give more details about my suffering to, like, prove in a way that I know, and to give you context of how far I have come from that. But within doing that, I put myself back in those situations and recreate that somehow, some way in my reality. And you do too. Every time you're thinking about the past, every time, just to give yourself context. And we think we need to give ourselves or other people context of who we were to where we are now, or to where we want to go. But it's just between you, in your own mind. You have your own home within you, your mind, your heart, your soul, all of these places, your body, your mind, your soul. You have a home already, and you need to be taking care of it. You need to be taking care of it. Like, you own this house. Call a plumber when you need it. Get your air conditioning fixed. Don't get air conditioning. Open your windows. Sweep your porch. Mow your lawn. Take care of your house. Get rid of all the dust, all the pollution, all the viruses in your own home, your body, your mind, and your soul. And the world will open up. I'm telling you, the world will open up. I don't fear things as much anymore. I was fearing things because I was going through so many life changes on top of the world's changes. And I'm just a very sensitive person on top of that. And very observant. I'm very aware. I can't not be aware. And it was a lot to deal with. But I'm so grateful that I went through it, because I know I can get through anything now. I know how powerful my thoughts are. People have shown up out of nowhere to help me, because I was helping myself. God helps those who help themselves. And I think I was so focused on that, like, are more people going to help? More people keep coming around and want to be around me, and it's freaking me out. And I've had to let all that go too. It's made me feel a lot better. Like, not saying like, oh, I can do it all on my own, but I know that I have a higher power working in my favor at all times. And you focus on that more than anything, and life works out. That's going to be the repeated message in all of my videos. If you think what you're going through right now is a terrible situation, it will continue to be a terrible situation. But there is a process of grief, and grief, when I say grief, it's a sadness, an anger, a confusion, the uncertainty, even love and happiness and joy are within that grief. And it's all conflicting and confusing emotions and experiences that you go through. And the world is going through that now because of the world changes. And I felt like, I know what grief is like. My mom died twice. Like, all these terrible things have happened in my life. I know what it's like. I almost died a couple times. Like, I know what this grief stuff is like. I was in a grief group. I don't know. But there is a process you have to go through. But at the same time, eventually you got to go through the process of, okay, but how am I going to nourish myself now? How am I going to nurture myself now? What steps am I going to take to put that into action so I don't have to be in this stuck grief phase anymore? I don't feel hopeless. I don't feel like this is my reality. What am I going to do moving forward to make sure that my body, mind, and soul is the default mode, is a much more harmonious and abundant way of living? We know misery. This world loves misery. Misery loves company. My videos where I talked about more miserable things, they do a lot better. My titles that don't have happy or optimism in them don't do as well. And I think that's really funny. I think that's really funny and very telling of people and how we are wired and programmed to be and what to focus on. And before I was focusing on, isn't that so sad? That's not right. That's wrong. We shouldn't be focused on those things. But now, it's less clutter, at least. That's a positive within the positivity world, right? There's less clutter. There's less dust, pollution, toxicity, viruses. Because now I'm attracting more happy people. You know, or just more aware. That word happy triggers people so much, and I also think that's hilarious because it's just, isn't it bizarre how regulated we make joy? How much we question people if they're in a good mood, if they're smiling, if they say the word happiness, if they talk about the good things going on in their life. We regulate, we judge. But I know that's just people's egos. Like, can that be true? Can that be true? You got to keep going with that voice. But eventually you got to realize that voice is not who you truly are. And that voice is only keeping you in that place of misery. You know, nitpicking and poking at people who are just trying to get by in life just as much as you are. But finally, like, are doing the work to get to a more peaceful, loving place so they can actually live a fucking life. I don't know. There's so much misery in this world. There's so many miserable people. There's so many miserable people on YouTube who they get an ego boost from making videos about being miserable because it gets more views and it builds more of a community, but that community is just a virus. It's just cluttered. It's just cluttered up. I just scattered minds coming together and just causing clutter and chaos. And I've seen that on my own channel. I've been experiencing that. And like, I'm in tune with energy more than actual things. I see underneath what's going on underneath and on an energetic level. So I know like what a lot of what I say and what I see that I see, a lot of people can't see it, but I know everyone can sense it. If you slow down, get rid of all that chaos in your mind, you slow down, you can see energy a lot more clearer and see the impact that it's making. Every word you speak, everything, every thought you think, every action you take, it's all contributing to this cluttered up energy. And if you watch what you speak and think and act on, you will clear that clutter away. You will make an improvement to your own life so much that it will change your world. You won't see the world's problems the same anymore. They'll still exist. There's always going to be things, negative things going on. There's always going to be miserable people who need to move through that misery. That's why I'm going to continue being who I am and talking what I talk about, because this is never ending as well. There's always work to be done. But there is clarity in this life. There is peace and there's love. There's There's so much to look forward to. There is so much to look forward to. And if you feel like there's not much to look forward to, that should worry you. But I mean, that does worry people and they get stuck. So I guess it shouldn't worry you, but you should focus on that. Like, wait, why can't I go towards what makes me feel good? What's wrong with me figuring out what makes me feel good? What's wrong with figuring out my definition of happiness? What's over there? What happens when I go towards that? Like, and then start defining happiness for yourself through your thoughts, the words you speak, and the actions that you take. And then eventually you're going to realize, hey, I'm a lot happier. Hey, the problems that were so big before aren't that big anymore. You're full of love, and you give love and you receive love all the time. And I'm not talking about romantic relationships, although that is included, but love. This good, ooey gooey feeling, this knowing. God, love is God. That is just everywhere. This energy of love, of a higher intelligence, always around, always here, always just delighted to be expressed. Always, always, always. Yeah, delighted to be expressed. Always, in all ways. Always, in all ways. I don't know, I'm so bored with the misery. I'm so bored with my own problems. I'm so bored with the world's problems. I'm so bored with hearing about people's problems. So I'm changing the narrative. And I know it's impossible to be happy all the time, to not have problems. I know that. But I'm happy about that because it means I'm alive. I have a human life and I get to experience adversity. I get to experience overcoming things. I don't see it as the end all be all. That's why my situation with being homeless, but I realized that I've been homeless for many years. I used to run away as a kid. I used to stay at random people's houses all the time. And I started doing that again, through my separation to my divorce. I've been having to live with strangers, moving to a whole new place. I never really had my own house, my own home to be comfortable in and to easily afford. But I'm not going to let myself be miserable in that and pity myself. That's a goal now. That's I've never experienced that. What's that like to experience that? You have to feel things within you, visualize them, feel them, be with it before it can be manifested in physical reality. And then if it manifests in physical reality, the higher intelligence goes off of that energy, that feeling, those images, those words, those actions. And then it presents it into your physical world so you can experience it in this human life that you have. That is the purpose of this life. That's what we're here to do. We're here to bring the unseen into the physical world. And so many of us are miserable because that's all that's being projected onto the news and social media, through other people who watch the news and go on social media. This world is misery because that's all what's always being spoken, thought about, and actions being taken on miserable things. So yeah, I've been very curious about this for a while. And I've been doing this, and I had to experience that misery again to really understand where I'm going. And did that make sense? Just because I say that and you go towards joy and happiness and something opposite of misery to create something better, doesn't mean you're not going to ever experience that. And you actually experience it more because your ego's fighting that. The old you is fighting that to hold on to it. It's all it's ever known. And this world, most people I interact with, that you interact with, that's all that they have ever known. So it's around all of the time. And you just have to keep going through it. I have been tricked so many times by my own ego, by my own perception that this is how the world is. And I have to keep breaking through that. Like, you're not doing anything wrong if you fail, if you make mistakes, if you think negative thoughts. That's completely normal. It's going to happen. That's the grieving process. Life itself is a grieving process. People die all the time. People leave this world all the time, and it's sad, and we don't talk about it. We just shove it down, and we wonder why we're miserable. We wonder why there's all these things going on and nobody talks about them. Nobody can connect because we're not connecting the good with the bad. It should all be integrated and balanced. It's all necessary. You don't know what's good. You don't know what love is without what's bad and what hatred is, right? So just respect everything, appreciate everything as much as you possibly can. Don't overthink how and why. Just respect and appreciate things more, the good and the bad. And you continuously do that, and there will be more to be appreciative of. There will be more in life to respect. You will respect yourself, your own life, and then you will respect other people's. You respect your own limitations and appreciate them. It sounds counterintuitive, but you accept what is. It's not that you're confirming that this is the reality that I have now. You thinking fearful thoughts or hateful thoughts or miserable thoughts, you're reaffirming this is your reality and this is what you like to the higher intelligence. So that's why we keep creating that. But if you accept what is, the misery that you're in now, the low place that you're in now, or the low places that other people are in that you don't particularly agree with or like being around, you accept what is, that releases you. And then you start breaking through that. Life gives you situations where you can overcome, you have to go through that thought process again. And those actions, something is presented in your physical reality, so you have to go through that. Like me being homeless, I am going through another ego death, another process of how do I view these miserable states? How do I break through these miserable states? Now I'm given a physical thing, manifested a physical thing for me to break through, for me to overcome. So I can reach a higher state of thinking, feeling, and acting on, and speaking about. Okay, that makes sense? All right, there's more people showing up, and there's a dude on a stolen bike staring at me. Okay. We have to break through these things. We have to. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to the people that we love around us, the future people that will love us, that you will love. We owe it to everyone, not just ourselves. And not in an oh way where if you don't do this, you're fucked and like you owe people. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. I just mean that you're here, you're part of this entire fucking universe, dude. You're part of this. You matter. You are matter. You do create matter from your thoughts, your words, and your actions. You do create matter from that spiritual side of you, that soulful side of you that knows way better than you do. So listen to that voice more than anything else, and speak from that voice more than anything else, and take actions from that voice more than anything else, and watch your world change. Observe that more. Practice this more and more so you understand what people like me are talking about, because you deserve to experience this. You absolutely do. You absolutely do, no matter where you are. And I'm grateful for my position. At the same, for people to see me being homeless. I mean, some of you who have been around a while, I've taken those videos down, but just in very low states of a lot of changes. I'm very grateful now. Like it's been very cringy and embarrassing to keep going through that, but that's what I'm talking about. And you just break through those things. You break through any limitations. You break through what anybody may think of you. You keep going no matter what. And I've been doing that with my thoughts, my words, and my actions on this channel, in my personal life and on this channel especially. And I hope that you guys can see that and sense that and apply that wherever you feel necessary in your own life. Okay, have a wonderful day.